Welcome to this video, Dhammapada, chapter 6, Panditavaggo, verse 5, verse 80 in the consecutive numbering. I'll read it out to start with twice as usual, first time without the text on the screen, and the second time with the text on the screen. Udakang hi nayanti Tika usukara namayanti te janam darun namayanti tachaka attanam damayanti pandita. Here's the text now for you. There we are. Udakang hinayanti nettika usukara namayanti te janam darun namayanti tachaka attanam damayanti pandita. The subject of this is actually four separate simple sentences. Each pada, each half line, stands as a complete grammatical sentence on its own. Udakanghi nayanti nettika. Nettika, from the root ni, and we have the verb nayanti, literally they lead, nayanti, and nettika, let me call up my iPad for you, nettika, okay, now, in Sanskrit, with the suffix tra, an instrument for doing something. So a netra, literally something that leads, or something that you use to guide you or to lead you. And it's very often used to mean the eye, the seeing eyes, because the eyes that guide you where you're going. And in Pali that becomes netta, netra, netta, normal phonetic mutation. By extension of meaning of that same word in agricultural engineering, a netra is a water conduit. These little conduit ditches that are dug to guide water from a lake or a river into the fields. They're the water leaders, the conduits. And that's the netta. And a nettika is somebody who makes these water conduits. He's a water conduit digger. Translated as canal maker, not big canal, just means in the little channels for water between the fields. So nettika, these conduit makers, these irrigation engineers, nayanti, lead, udakam, water, and the he is used that doesn't really add anything to the meaning here. It's just this emphatic particle. It's not used elsewhere in the sentence, but it's put in here just as a little bit of an expletive, in the sense of filling out, explere, to fill out. So the udakanghi nayanti nettika, the canal makers, the conduit makers, lead water. Lead in the sense of guide it to where it's meant to be. They, by their efforts, they are guiding it in the right direction, where they want it. Usukara namayanti te janam. The usukara, usu is an arrow, and usukara is an arrow maker. The fletcher, but usukara, arrow maker. So the usukara namayanti te janam. Now, Namayanti is here used in its primitive and original sense. We all know Namo Tassa Bhagavato and so on from the root namaste, a bow to you. The very familiar greeting. The root nam actually just physically means to bend something. And then by extension to bow, as in I bow to you, you bow to the Buddha. Here the word is used in its primitive sense. Namayanti, causative here, cause to bend. They make it bend, or just they bend it. So the usukara bend the tejanam, bend the arrow. In other words, they manipulate the wood, they bend it so that it's dead straight. That's the meaning of this really. Namayanti tejanam. Tejana, the tejana. The original meaning is the sharp point of the arrow, and then by extension, the whole of the arrow, from the Sanskrit root tej, meaning sharp. And ultimately we get the English word stick, as you stick something and you stick a sharp object. You stick a sharp stick into something. It's from that same root, tej. So the usukara, the arrow makers, namayanti tejanam, bend the arrow, straighten out the wood of the arrow by bending it. Darun namayanti tachaka. Again, we see namayanti in that same meaning. Darum is wood, just the name of the substance. Cognate with our English word tree, the tra, darum, tree. Russian for wood, derevo, the derevo. Darum namayanti tachaka. Carpenters bend the wood. In other words, they shape it into the shape that they need to make. Takshaka is from the root taksh, meaning to shave wood, or to plane, or to chisel wood. And by extension, it means to just to build, because the builder, the primitive builder, is the one who is able to shape or plane the wood, cut the wood to make the parts for the building. And so we got a takshaka, is a carpenter, and by extension, a builder. And that from which we get the Greek tekton, which means a builder. And in fact, our English word architect, architekton in Greek, chief builder, which we have architect. It's from the same root, tekton, takshaka, and tachaka in Pali. I've mentioned in my note there's this interesting imagery here, that this root taksh, that becomes tekt in Greek and then tex in Latin, it's taken on a slightly different meaning in Latin. You are fashioning something, you are in a sense building something, but in Latin it came to mean weaving cloth. So that's where you get a textile. So remember, textile and architect from ultimately that same root which appears in Sanskrit as taksh. And the interesting imagery is we talk about words woven together to make a text. So our word text actually means something that's woven. As in textile, there's no accent. Textile and text are from the same root. And the imagery that in Sanskrit, sutra, from the root siv, to sew, sutra is something which is sewn, in Pali sutta. So we, in English, we use the imagery of something that's woven, a text, whereas Sanskrit and Pali use the pretty similar imagery of something that is sewn together, but with our meaning of text. So we had sutta, sutra. So darum namayanti tachaka. Carpenters or builders generally bend, or in a sense fashion, shape. You might say, literally bend the wood, means shape the wood, put the wood into the right shape. Darum namayanti tachaka attanam namayanti pandita. So here it's saying that irrigation engineers lead the water where it's meant to go. Fletchers make the arrow how it's meant to be, dead straight. Builders shape the wood, put the wood into the shape it's meant to be. And the wise people, the pandita, attanam damayanti, they get to work on their atta, on themselves, and they tame themselves. This word Damayanti Damayati, or Damayati in Sanskrit and Pali, or also Pali Dameti, means to tame. And it's cognate with our English word tame. And it's cognate also with the Latin word domus, and then we have in English domesticate. A domesticated animal is an animal that has been tamed and it can live with humans. So, udakanghin nayanti nettika, trench makers, canal diggers, conduit makers lead or guide the water. Usukara namayanti tejanam, the fletchers, the arrow makers bend the tejana, bend the sharp arrow. Darun namayanti tachaka, the tectons, the builders. Namayanti, shape or bend. Darum, the wood. Danan damayanti pandita, learned men or wise men tame themselves. So I'll just read this through once more. Here we go. Udakanghi nayanti nettika, usukara namayanti tejanam, darun namayanti tachaka, attanan damayanti pandita. That concludes this video.